Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pit. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. And started off the week with a bit of a surprise. Everyone was saying, Lawson, you're nuts. Lawson, you're crazy. There's no way the Seahawks can stay in that game, let alone cover. And then we saw what the Seahawks came out and did. Let me know in the live chat if the mic is working good. What's up, Brian Webb? What's up, Mike? What's up, Matt? Great to see you, Matt. Always great to see you guys. What's up, Leo? What's up, Julio? Yeah, man, my bad. I had a long traveling. I was literally on airplanes for like 26 hours. We're back in the studio. We're ready to get money. Week 13, lucky week 13 coming up. That was a great game last night. That was a great game, man. Yeah, man. John Butt, yeah, Patreon picks will be up after the show. We're getting back into soccer. I mean, one thing, like, listen, man, we know betting's hard, but we've been absolutely phenomenal with the soccer this year. Had a good month of November on Patreon, even with all the volatility. I'm looking forward this week, man. We got kind of a bare slate. But I am excited about 3 or 4 games, and I always talk to you guys before I make my final decision. Yeah, Jonathan. Yeah, man, it was good, man. It's just you're disconnected from the world because I have to take like 3 connecting flights to get back to where I live in Brazil. So that's the problem, but no excuses. We're ready to go this week. We're ready to get it in. Yeah, man. Can New England win? Alonzo, Stanford. What's up? What's up, Zoe? Listen, man. I am leaning that way, and we had an earlier question. From Batten and Arbs. Nice to see you, Batten. Listen, I would not bet the Chargers here. Let's just start with that. And let's get to the psychological component before we get to the X's and O's. I don't know how long you guys have been watching the show, but a lot of you guys have been watching it for the last 3-4 years. And one thing that has really gotten under my craw is Brandon Staley's coaching. And whenever that man is in the mix, your money's not safe. We can do all the legwork. We can watch all the film. We can digest all the matchups on the O-line and D-line. But when that man is in the mix, if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. And I say this to say this. Listen, man, I think Brandon Staley, this could be his last game. I think the hoodie Bill Belichick could put out the knockout blow. I mean, Brandon Staley's already down. He's like one of those boxers. He's been hit about 1,000 times. It just comes down to when the ref is going to wave up the hands and say TKO. And also, so here's one thing about this game. Firstly, with the Chargers, Herbert's been really good the last 5-6 weeks. Honestly, if you watch the film and you watch him go through his reads, I didn't like how he played against Dallas, but outside of that, I feel like he's been good and he's getting better every single week in the season. The problem is this Chargers team is weak-minded, and that's a big part of Brandon Staley. They kind of are an epitome of their coach. They'll blow it late. They'll choke it late. They should have beat the Packers by 10, 17 points. Eckler gets down to the 2-yard line to cover. He fumbles. That's just what this team is. Now you're going on the road to a desperate New England team. Both teams are desperate. But can you just do this question for yourself? Because we're playing armchair psychologist here. Which team do you trust to fight harder? And for me, that's the Patriots. There isn't a lot of science in there. We know the Patriots are absolute dog shit. We know their defense has underperformed this year. We know Matt Jones and Bailey Zappi have been absolutely heinous at quarterback. We know that going in. But this Chargers team makes mistakes that blow games, especially on the defensive side, which is supposed to be Brandon Staley's forte. I think this is going to be an extremely ugly game, man. I really do, and it's going to be a grinder. And, I saw it move down to like -5.5 today. But do I want to take the Chargers laying points on the road? No, no. Listen, there's an opportunity for everything. I just feel like 5.5 is an awful lot. And also, just to make it clear to the new first time listeners, listen, man, we've been fading the Patriots for 3 years. And, it's easy to fade them now, but we've been fading them for
3 years.
so it takes a lot for me to come on here and say that this is a possible upset. I really do feel like it is a possible upset. And I do wonder, a big issue with New England this whole year has been running the football. They just can't run it. They're not pass blocking all that good. I think they'll be able to run it against the Chargers and Bosa out of this game. I think the Patriots can surprise here. I think the Patriots can surprise. Yeah, man. Last week was good, man. The games on Sunday were very good to us. So looking forward to getting that momentum going. The good stuff. Any new or canceled money picks from Tuesday? No, I'm sticking with it. But can I tell you guys one that is kind of alluring to me? But honestly, maybe we should be laying off of it. Am I the only one who's a little bit tempted by the Falcons -1.5, -2? Hey, listen, we've actually made money on the Falcons this year, as inconsistent as they've been. But I completely understand if the Jets are on your no bet list and the Falcons are on your no bet list. But something tells me, man, that the Falcons will be able to grind out this game. I also like the under. I also like the under 33. So that's where I'm at. That's the one game that's calling out to me. If I had to add an extra money pick in, I would think about the Falcons. I've been thinking about it all day. And as someone who's watched every single Falcon snap this year, I tread lightly with them, very lightly. But we're getting into the psychological part of the season where, listen, let's be realistic, man. Let's go to the Chargers locker room, or let's go to the Jets defensive side of the locker room. How engaged do you think those players are? How engaged do you think they're ready to put their body on the line to watch Tim Boyle fumble the ball, or watch Brandon Staley make a costly mistake that cost them the game? How ready are those players? Because this is a physical game, man. And listen, it's not like baseball where you can go out there, do your thing, even when you're feeling 50% motivated. This is a game where you need to be all in, balls deep, balls to the wall. And I just have questions about the Jets this week, and I have questions about the Chargers this week. And cycling back to Brandon Staley, am I the only one who thinks this team has quit on him? Am I being melodramatic? Am I running the soap opera saying that the death blow, the final nail in the Brandon Staley coffin was when Eckler fumbled that ball at the 2-yard line? I mean, Brandon Staley made other mistakes in that Packers game in the last 3 minutes. But I felt like that was like the final death blow for Brandon Staley's job. He really is a dead man walking. Yeah, guys, and okay, what's up, Mike Stacks? A lot of you guys are asking about Pittsburgh. I would tread lightly with them. I'm sure most of the money's on Pittsburgh. I didn't look at it, but I did tell you when I picked it on Tuesday, I'm sure most will be looking about the Steelers, and I get it. But also, you have to ask yourself a question. Are you a little bit late to the party? A lot of people didn't want to follow me in the trenches last week when I picked Pitt against Cincy. And I can't really understand why. And we've been very good with this Pittsburgh team this whole year. Yes, we think they stink. Do they deserve to have the amount of wins they have? No, not really. Are they getting good quarterback play? No. But this is a team that is able to grind out games. There is one matchup that worries me. And here's one issue with the Steelers that not a lot of people talk about. When Patrick Peterson is your best corner, or is even a starting corner on your team, I do get concerned. And I do wonder what type of Kyler Murray will we see. One thing we know from the Cardinals, and we can't say this about the Chargers, for instance, we know the Cardinals are going to give 100% fight and 100% effort. Am I right? Like, I don't think they're going to go in and lay down. We know when you look at talent in this league, I think New England's 32, but I think the Cardinals are probably 31. But you add Kyler Murray to this mix, and I don't know if you guys taken a yonder at these receiving options for the Cardinals. I really do like them. I felt like the big reason why the Cardinals sucked so bad against the Rams was the offensive game plan. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know how many of you guys watched it. I watched it on Monday night, starting from the Tuesday video. We didn't see any Kyler Murray rollouts. We barely saw any Kyler Murray scrambling, and we certainly didn't see anything out of the box, misdirection to get the defense off balance. I do think the Cardinals will have a little bit of spice this week, and I think it's necessary. This Pittsburgh team is playing better. They did put up 400 yards for us last week against the Bengals, but we need to keep in perspective that, and those of you who bet it on Patreon know it wasn't quite as straightforward as the final score. And this Steelers team left them in the game. Am I excited that Matt Canada got fired? Yeah, like I think it's going to be a little bit of juice. It's going to be a little bit of an upgrade. But do I trust the Steelers like laying like 6.5? I don't know, man. We haven't been betting them in those situations. Like if you look at the times they were money picks, there were money picks against the Bengals with the backup quarterback for us. There were money picks against the Ravens +4 at Heinz Field, and I get it. The Cardinals do not travel well. Historically, this year, 5 years ago, the Cardinals do not travel well, and we know Heinz Field is a very good home field. I give me the points, man, with that one. I don't like the Steelers in this situation. Michael, man, I'm going to get through the Patreon questions. I'm going to take some guests. We'll see I don't have the exact time marked down. Yeah, Holy God, you make a good point. I don't know. Yeah, Holy God, you make a good point. He pretty much said, for those of you who are like watching on the TV or something, you don't think the Pats are giving up? Listen, I do respect the opinion, and I do think it's a possibility, but at home, and also, we have to remember, like, this isn't a fucking pick. Chargers are laying 5.5, 6 on some bucks, going to Foxborough. And when you talk about teams that don't travel well, the Chargers are up there quite a bit, right, guys? Like, I don't think that would shock anyone to see the Chargers lay an egg on the road. We've seen that a lot of times. Alonzo Sanford, I have $200 in free bets. I'm letting it all ride on New England. Well, it's ballsy, and in this game, you need to be ballsy. Those are the best ones. What's up, Justin? What's up, Wrath of Raider? Wrath of Raider, I've barely seen you this year, bro. How's it going, man? How you liking Antonio Pierce? Oh, thank you, BMSD, with the $2 super chat. I really appreciate it. Let's get to the Patreon questions. I'll keep taking some YouTube questions. Yeah, well, that's the issue with Arizona. The issue with Arizona is they just don't have enough talent on defense. The offense actually isn't all that bad if you look at it and take a deep breath. The offensive line needs a little work, but they got some young offensive linemen who seem to be getting better every week. But yeah, the worry with the Cardinals is that defense, and they can't get pressure without blitzing, and they're not big enough to stop the run. And they're certainly not physical enough to stop it. Steelers have been pounding them good, but you got to think Jonathan Gannon's going to clog that box. Lauren Kaiser, Arizona, my best pick. I think we're isolated. Lauren, I'll wait to get you on to talk about it, but I do think we're kind of against the grain here. And I would like just the people know, like, listen, we've been milking the Steelers cow the last 4 or 5 weeks. Like, it's been going good, but now I think it's time to just get up. Like, I think it's Arizona, don't bet the game. What's up, Jay Stop? Yeah, 49ers. Got the 49ers Eagles this week. 49ers Eagles. I know Jay's ready for that one. Zamora 690. If you could only bet one game, would it be San Fran -3 or Detroit -4? San Fran -3. Actually, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. I would probably go Detroit -4. But did anyone see that Friday injury report for the Saints? How bad is it looking? Because when I was looking for on Tuesday and Wednesday for the videos, no Michael Thomas, Olave might not play, Cam Jordan might not play, Shaheed might not play. I don't know if any of those guys have made some sort of leap to Sunday. I will go Detroit. And I do think Philly's dangerous. But yeah, that was one thing. Like, I wanted your guys' opinion on all week. That was one of the most shocking spreads I've seen. And it's shocking for me. And you guys know I'm transparent. I post on Instagram my power rankings many times. I've hit the Niners 1 or 2 the whole fucking year in my power rankings. And I certainly have the Niners ranked above the Eagles. And I throw out the record, man. I don't look at record as much as other people. Like, you know how on ESPN they'll change their power rankings every single week, and you know how that goes. Yeah, like on ESPN power rankings this week, I saw they had fucking the Steelers at 8, which, you know, like we've been milking them and it's been nice. And I did like that grind we got at -1 last week, but come on, everyone needs to calm down a little bit. Yeah, I agree with you. Here we go. Yeah, this sticks. Like, this is another one that I'm looking at. I'm looking at that Washington game. And I do wonder if we see some sort of performance out of Washington. I do wonder. Listen, we've had Miami in this situation many a times, but most of the time it's at home with them laying points. This Washington team is radically inconsistent. It just depends how you view it, man. It just depends how you view it, because we saw that Cowboys game, but they also looked pretty good the first 3 quarters. And then it spiraled out of control. And I do wonder how Miami's going to do outside in cold weather. I just don't like the spot all that much for Miami. I would not smug my nose if someone bet it. Yeah, thank you, Wrath of Raider. Thank you, man. Yeah, thank you, bro. Okay, let's get to the first Patreon question. Any soccer bets? Yes. I believe we'll have 1 or 2. One for sure. Thinking about a second one. Patreon bets will be up about like 9:30, 10 Eastern time tonight. Bear with me. Johnny Gonzalez. What's up, Lawson? This Niners game is going to be the talk of the day. I think it's trappy, man. I think the books want Eagles money. I just want to caution people that may be eager to back the Eagles as dogs. Just think, why would a 10-1 team at home be an underdog to an 8-3 team? Let's get this money. Yeah, Johnny, I agree with you. And I actually want to see what the bet distribution is looking like. I'm going to search for the betting distribution on this, so we might as well get into this game. Okay, let's look at the NFL betting trend. So my guess is this is like 57% 49ers, 43% Eagles. Let's see what the bets are coming in for. Okay, so even with this spread, 73% of the bets are on the Niners, 27% of the bets are on the Eagles. Pretty shocked by it, but Johnny, I do agree with you, man, because I just feel like the 49ers are the better team. Do I like them going west to east? No. But one thing that's worried me about the Eagles this whole damn year is, have we seen the Eagles play a good football game, a full 4 quarters? And we've just seen this Eagles offense completely die during games. For instance, the Bills game, look at how bad they were for 4 or 5 possessions straight. Even earlier in the year, look at how the Eagles should have beat the Rams by 30 points. Look at how they let these teams hang around, and credit to the Eagles for winning. But against the 49ers, you're going to need a really good, holistic 4 quarters. And I just don't think we're going to see that from the Eagles. And also, the big matchup in this Eagles 49ers game is I think it's Purdy against the Eagles secondary. I did like the Eagles adding Bayard. I do think their secondary has gotten better than it was earlier in the year. But if Purdy gets in rhythm, and if Purdy is having one of his days, I could see the 49ers laying a 30 spot on them. And I'm not sure Hurts, I'm not sure this beat up Eagles offensive line is going to be able to deal with this 49ers front. And the Eagles are kind of beat up going into this game. I know Lane Johnson saying he's going to play. We don't know about Fletcher Cox yet, but I do feel like the Eagles are entering this game on more of like a down ebb, and the 49ers are entering on a high ebb. Do I like the 49ers laying 3 on the road to a fucking really good team like the Eagles? No. But I think this is where our analysis has to come in. I mean, we've been left scratching our head about the Eagles the whole damn year. And this is an opportunity to fade them. You can't really fade them against the Bills. I mean, can you? Either way, it was a push. I saw some of you guys got it for 2.5. Credit to you guys on Patreon. But yeah, I'm just. This is a good place to fade the Eagles or sit it out. Throwaway sends a $5 super chat. Happy holidays. Thanks for the picks over the years. Thank you. Thank you, my man. It's my pleasure, man. It's always great getting on here and talking with you guys. Always great to see it. Okay, here we go. Yeah, King Justin always wins. The Eagles defense is terrible. I do kind of agree that secondary is terrible. And we did see the Bills pound the ball on them. Now, I'm sure the Eagles will game plan, and I'm sure they'll be ready for the Shanahan run scheme. But you're right, this Eagles defense just doesn't have the juice that it had last year. So, weren't you guys a little bit concerned? Maybe because, listen, anything can happen in any week. A team has one, for instance, if a team has one bad week, stopping the run, are we going to say, oh, no, they can't stop the run? But I do see what you're saying. Like when the Bills are able to pound you, and the strength of the Eagles is that defensive line, front 7, you do get a little bit worried because we know that secondary is a big vulnerability. Big vulnerability. Yeah, man. So I'm looking forward to that game. I'm glad we got a great game on to watch. That might be the game of the regular season. Reggie Wright, what would be your 2 favorite over-unders for the 1 o'clock games? I'm thinking about just doing 2. Okay, let me bring up the totals. I did the over-under videos. Go check that out. Man, I like that under 33 in the Falcons Jets. I really do like that one. And where I'm looking at, I like this under in the Broncos Texans, and I have a lot to say about that game. We got to talk about this Broncos team a little bit. So for the over-unders at the 1 o'clock spot, I like the under in the Texans Broncos, and I'm not touching the rest of them. And the other over-under would be Falcons Jets, even though it's 33.5. Now let's get to this Broncos Texans game. I think everyone needs to take a deep breath on the Broncos. And if you guys say I'm wrong, that's fine. But I'm going to try to explain something that has really pissed me off. I don't think people are actually watching these Broncos games. I don't think people are watching these Broncos games. And I'm going to start with that. John Barnes with the super chat. $10. Thank you, my man, John. Thank you. You think the Rams can run the ball on Cleveland with Williams? No. But the weird thing with the Browns defense this year, I don't know if you guys notice, is when teams run the ball outside to the right, we've seen big plays. Like, for instance, the Broncos hit him with one. We saw the Steelers hit him with one, and they come from out of nowhere. We saw the Colts hit him with three that same lane, and I think sometimes this Browns defense, they press so much. They're so ready to make a fucking play, and they feel so much pressure that they have to make a play, and I think sometimes they don't stay in their run fits, and they overreact. It's highly possible. But for me, man, when I'm looking at that Rams-Browns game, yeah, I raised an eyebrow when I saw Joe Flacco was going to be playing quarterback for the Browns. I'm fucking really concerned. I'm really concerned. But the reason why I like the Browns in that game has nothing to do with quarterbacks. When we picked the Browns, when we picked them against the Steelers, we knew we were going to get dog shit at quarterback. Like, we've already accepted that. We've moved on. It's about this Browns defense. It's about them being able to run the ball. And I do think the Rams have been Vegas's most overrated team this year. I do. Now, let's get to this Texans game, fellas. I really like the Texans. I'm sure people are going to be against me, but I have to really spell this out. I really have to spell this out. Now, so I don't think people are watching Broncos games. So if you look at it, the advanced statistics, you could go eye test, you could go advanced statistics. This Broncos offense has actually been worse the last 5 weeks than they were earlier in the season. So the offense is actually declining. Now, I don't want to take anything away from this Broncos defense. They're fighting, they're playing hard, they got a bunch of young guys in there, and we've seen the improvement. Maybe the 70 or 72 put up by Miami is an admiration, maybe. But here's where I'm concerned. Vikings turn it over 4 times. And we're talking fumbles. We're not talking interceptions or great plays. Vikings turned it over 4 times. I think 3 of those were fumbles. How many times did the Bills turn it over? 4 or 5 times. How many times did the Browns turn it over? 3 or 4 times. And a lot of those turnovers, if you watch those Broncos games, were unforced errors. And credit to Sean Payton, credit to Russell Wilson. Broncos haven't been turning the ball over. But now that C.J. Stroud walks into his home turf with the playoffs, with the division on the line, what do we know about the Texans? What have we been saying all year? What have we been saying all year? Texans take care of the fucking football, man. So the Broncos aren't going to get like a 4-0 turnover disparity against the Texans. And when you look at turnover disparities like that, you have to count it as a little bit of luck. I don't want to take anything away, but it is a little bit of luck, and it's not something you can count on, and it's not something you can continue. I really like the Texans. Now that's at -3. I'm feeling really good about it, ready to pound it, ready to splash. Listen, I just don't know how many of you guys have been watching these Broncos games. I mean, your boy sat through the last 4 Broncos games. And everyone's acting like we lost the Minnesota one. No, Minnesota covered. And Minnesota dominated those first 3 quarters against them. And we saw how bad Minnesota is against the Bears. So I think everyone needs to take a little bit of a deep breath about the Broncos. The offense is actually getting worse. Like, listen, if the fucking Bills turn it over 4 or 5 times, like, listen, you're going to get to 20 points. Like, this is the NFL. If you did that in Pop Warner, you'd get slammed. You know? Sean Spencer, $2 super chat. Thank you, Sean. Best bet for Survivor Pool. Detroit, Bucks, Texans, pick. I think you could be audacious and go Texans here. I think you can get audacious. Here. It's just, let's throw the Bucks out. Like, I don't know what your strategy is, but out of those ones, I would go the Texans to be audacious, unless you know a easier matchup is coming up for them. It's good that you saved Detroit this far. For some reason, we always get fear about the Saints, and we know that the Saints team has a lot of talent. But I think if you go Detroit or the Texans, you're good. I wouldn't smug my nose at Pittsburgh. My issue with Pittsburgh is them laying 5.5 points. But I like those three, and I'm nervous about the Bucs, guys. I'm nervous about the Bucs, and I have no science to back it up. I have no science. I just have. Remember when Antonio Pierce took the job, and I made an Instagram video explaining the new coach bounce. And the Bucs have been playing worse, man. They are not getting better. If they played like they did the first 4 weeks of the season, they would win that NFC South easy. But they're just getting worse. And if you think of an unmotivated teams, that's where I'm at, man. Tyler Clayton, love your videos analysis. Found you a couple weeks ago. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Tyler. I appreciate it, my man. I really appreciate it, man. Glad you found the page, because once it gets late in the season, the algorithm doesn't send me in as many directions. But yeah, man, it's a great community too. Like, these people on here know football. So that's why I enjoy coming on. And that's why, like, this is my favorite show. I actually like hearing what you guys are thinking. It's kind of like going to the bar, except, when you go to the bar, no one knows what they're fucking talking about. Like, they still think Elway is the quarterback for the Broncos. So yeah, man, it's definitely good going in here. It's like going into a bar and a pub and getting some feedback on these games, man. Because, dude, we know NFL and why it's so fun to bet. There's probably 10, 12 different angles to look at every game. And that's what's so good about it. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this week, man. And I thank you, Tyler. Glad to have you on board. John Barnes, love how you break down the games. Great insight. Thanks for your work. Money, money, money. Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, John. Thank you for another super chat. Fredo, I don't know if I would call Cardinals plus 5.5 as a money pick. I don't think I'd go that far. But I do think that game is a little bit dangerous, and it's like kind of like the same rationale as the Panthers game. So if you give me Cardinals plus 5.5, yeah, and I took it on the video. It's not something I'm running to bet, but I think it's something that will happen. It sounds crazy, right, though? At least I know what I'm going to get out of the Cardinals. I know they're going to play hard. We can't say the same for teams like the Chargers. We can't say the Jets' offense is going to play hard against Atlanta. What did you guys think? Let me ask you guys a question now that I'm looking at the chat. What are you guys thinking about that Jets-Falcons game? And am I the only one who feels like that game is calling out? I feel like that game's calling out, Lawson, pick me. Like, I really feel like it's calling out to me to bet the Falcons, even though they're on a no-bet list. We've got some really bad luck on the Falcons this year, man. Like that Falcons-Packers game. I mean, the Falcons still were able to get it done against the Texans for us, but Jesus, man. People were mad when we put in the Browns against the Steelers. Listen, man, the Falcons games are even more excruciating than that. We know how it goes. Yeah, Ron says, I like Atlanta. They need to win. Yeah, and just the quarterback position has been so bad this year. Yeah, Alex, like, Jets have the better team. It's just when you got guys like Tim Boyle. Honestly, man, like, Tim Boyle shouldn't be in the fucking league. Zamora, are you going to start a Discord, and how much? I think I'm going to make it free, but I'm going to make it for Patreon users. So, so probably going to be free. My bad on that, because I wanted to just make it like $1.50 for people to get in. But do you guys use Discord? Because honestly, it would be a lot better for me because Patreon, like, listen, I can get the bets out, I can get my thoughts out, and we got some pretty good threads on there on the Thursday night game, the Sunday night game. But yeah, Patreon does have its limitations. So if you guys use Discord, I'm with it. Like, even if we just got like 100 of us in, yeah. Okay, here we go. Yeah, Brett Raver. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Like, Jets are kind of nosediving, and I just wonder, like, we're even seeing the defense not play as good. Although it's tough to judge them when they got Tim Boyle and Zach Wilson going 3-and-out every single time. Dime Betting says, I'd stay away from that game, bro. Yeah. Probably the best. Probably the best advice. Yeah, JJ, yeah. I wish Elway was still a quarterback. if Elway is still quarterback, why don't I have hair? RG uses Discord. Okay, I got you. All right. I think I was just creative, man. Okay. Mike, okay, explain this. I'm encouraged that Dallas won 42-35. I kind of agree with your opinion, although people aren't going to share it the same way. Like, I know we didn't lose money on that game, but I'm sure a lot of people lost money on that game. I mean, we were kind of on an island saying the Seahawks could cover. I felt like some of the talk leading up to that Cowboys-Hawks game was disrespectful. That's where I'm at. Yeah, man, back in Brazil, bro. Back in Brazil. So we're back here, man. Okay, let's get to the Patreon question. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Lino Frosto, yo Lawson. What's good, fam? I hope you had a blast here in the States and filled up on pizza. I ate pizza almost every day. The Patreon fam has been booty banging the Bucks, but my main concern this week is the 49ers game. What are you thinking? Shout out to Lauren, Dicko's, Prestige, and the rest of our Patreon fam. Peace. Yeah, Lauren is taking a little bit of weight off my shoulders, throwing up some player props. So shout out to Lauren. Shout out to everyone on Patreon. Yeah, and pretty much what I was saying earlier, like, I think the 49ers are winning the game, and I'm not an emotional bettor. I'm an emotional person, and I will change my opinion on things. But you guys know I make a betting power ranking, and I normally stick to it. And that's how we avoid being caught out, getting emotional. We know how this league is. If a team wins 2 games, they're great. Like, people are saying the Broncos are a good team now. Like, that's just one crazy example, but you know how it goes. You know, in the fog of war, so to speak, people can't really judge it right. That's why we make the betting power rankings, and that's why we stick to them. And the 49ers have been one for me the whole year. And let me just give you another example on these betting power rankings. Those of you who follow me on Instagram, go follow me, Lawson Bets NFL. I made my top 5 teams in the NFL the week after the Bills blew the Dolphins out. I still have the Dolphins in front of the Bills. Now, did I look like an idiot when I posted that? Yeah, but time heals all wounds, and this is a long game. This isn't a quick knot. This is a long game, and that's what we do. That's what we've done. We've been here 4 years gambling, and we've done a really good job at it, and it's because of that. And I got the 49ers 1 in my power ranking, and I don't like the value of the 49ers in this game. Because remember, we have the 49ers as a college fun game against the Jags. Yeah, it looks easy now, but the 49ers were coming off 3 straight fucking losses. But did we waver? Did we listen to noise? Did we turn on ESPN and did we listen to all like, oh, the 49ers, something's wrong with them? No, we didn't. We just watched the film and we took a deep breath and we didn't get too emotional. But like I said, I don't like the value of the 49ers. Think about it. We have that college fund bet on Patreon where we have the 49ers going to the Jags. Niners are -3. They're -3 against Philly in Philly. Can't say I like that as much. But I'm going 49ers to win in the cover. Wahid the Great, best two-team money line parlay. Well, what are you looking for? Are you looking for payout, or are you looking for something that will hit? Listen, man. With the parlays, the two-teamers, let's see what you want to do. But for me, man, I would maybe do a three-teamer. I would go Lions, Texans, then give me the Chiefs. That's what I would go, and then add the Jags. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I know it's a little bit early for Monday night, but is anyone really, really tempted by the Jags -8.5, or is that just too fucking much for you? And we saw with the Cowboys-Seahawks game, lots of penalties. And we know in this league, penalties change spreads more than they change games. They do change games sometimes, as the Eagles in the Super Bowl, a la James Bradbury, but penalties change spreads, and we know how that goes. I really like this Jags -8.5. I don't know. Like, maybe it's because I had to sit through Browning's first full game as quarterback against the Steelers. He could have thrown 4 interceptions. Steelers were kind of sloppy on the back end, dropped 2 clear interceptions. So, yeah, man. Okay, here we go. Yeah, Wahid the Great. He's awesome, man. He's awesome, man. Shout out to Wahid. Okay, Prestige. Lawson, I missed our chats. I've been in South America all of November living the life. I can honestly say Colombia is a global treasure. It is very nice. I visited there about a year and a half ago with my wife. We really liked it. Yeah, it's not for beginners, but it's a very great place and it has lots of great people. So, Eagles, San Francisco is the game of the week, but I have no idea why anyone would bet it. Grab your popcorn and enjoy. I agree with the sentiment. What bet do you see that's the best advantage with money? Listen, this isn't one I want you guys to throw a lot of money on, but I do kind of like maybe us rolling the dice for a Pats money line, or I really kind of am feeling this Pats Patriots money line. And listen, there's not a lot of science about it. You can go to the upset video, and I kind of think maybe the Bucks are in danger this week against the Panthers as well. But I'm going to comment another one to you that I will be betting that I'm going to put up at 10:30. So yeah, man. Listen, those aren't sexy, and I don't gain anything by that. Like, listen, no one remembers the plus 350s. They hold it against you if it doesn't hit. Like, obviously, you shouldn't be max betting like a team that is plus 350, plus 380. But we do see a lot of upsets around this time of year. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? I don't think I'm wrong on that. And I already went big into that Chargers-Patriots game. I don't want to put anyone to fucking sleep, but I do feel like motivation could be a factor for the Chargers. CEO Gordo 74. What's scaring you off the Chiefs? I just don't like their approach when they lay points. Like, this isn't like a this year thing for me. This is like a 4 or 5 year thing when the Chiefs are laying more than like 5.5 points. I get nervous about it. We normally, listen, how many times have this shown the last 3 years that Chargers plus 5.5 +6 against the Chiefs and covered. How many times? Quite a bit, right? And I think the Packers are bad. I'm not really changing my opinion, but I always worry about if the Chiefs really want to go for the kill. I mean, we did just see a Raiders team with a guy at quarterback who's not good at all get up 14-0 on them. And then they start to play and then they start to feel it like things happen in games. But I've just seen this Chiefs team take their foot off the gas pedal one too many times. When I like betting the Chiefs is when the Chiefs are playing a very good team, like the Eagles, like the 49ers. That's when I like betting them. I get it. Like, the Chiefs could easily beat the Packers by 13, 14 points. Easy. I'm not sold on the Packers. Like, credit to them what they did against Detroit on Thanksgiving. I don't think anyone saw that coming. I just don't think it's going to be a repeat performance. But I do kind of see what you're saying. I do think it's good value for the Chiefs here. You just need that touchdown. It's not like it's -7. It's not like it's -7.5. You're getting good value with the Chiefs here. I see where you're coming from, my friend. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I don't trust it. I just never like the Chiefs in those situations. Hot Taco on Patreon. Hey, Lawson, do you consider this week's game for the Chargers an Alamo game? Feels like they got to get back on track here. Also, are we getting some vintage Joe Flacco this week, or do you think he'll get blown out by that Rams defense? Man, I think Browns win the fucking game. I absolutely love the Browns with the points. Let's see what it's at. When I picked it on Tuesday, it was at 3.5. Let's go examine that real quick. Okay, where is it, man? We're at +4 now. Listen, I've been consistent with the Browns this whole year, and I think we're 4-2 on the games we've bet, which everyone's going to remember the 2. But if you give me 4-2, I'll take it. I'll bite your hands off, especially with the sums of money I throw at these games. Listen, man, when I look at this Browns-Rams game, I do worry about Joe Flacco a little bit. I do worry what happens if Joe Flacco gets hurt and they put in Walker. We know it's not going to be anything good or productive. That's where I'm at. But when I look at the Rams, man, I just feel like the Rams are one of the most overrated teams in Vegas this year. And I don't like this Rams defense, but the big worrisome part of this Rams team is their offensive line. When you look at Rams games, when I look at Rams game, I know this isn't a sexy way to look at it, but I do think I have a good way to look at it. When I look at the Rams, my first question is, are they going to be able to block? Are they going to be able to pass block? And I don't think they're going to be able to pass block the Browns. Like, I know Zay Smith is beat up. Myles Garrett said he was going to play earlier in the week. If Myles Garrett is out there, I just can't see the Rams being too productive. And I get why people like the Rams. Like, you got 3 pretty good one great receiver, 2 pretty good receivers to complement them with a good, reliable tight end in Higbee. And we know when Matt Stafford catches rhythm, he's surgical. And he gets very surgical when he gets 5, 6 in a row, and then he can absolutely whoop you. We know that. I just think the Browns show up this week, and listen, the Browns fumbled the ball 3 times. I think they had 4 turnovers against the Broncos. And listen, did it hurt? Yeah. Did I get pissed? Yeah. But at the end of the day, I don't think that's going to happen again. And when I bet the Browns, I understand. I accept when we walk into battle with money on the Browns, I accept we're not going to get anything from the quarterback position. We're going to get zilch, absolute zilch. I actually do think Flacco could be an upgrade. Can someone bring up the Browns injury report for your boy? Yeah, and the second part of your question, my man, Hot Taco. I don't know, man. I think the Browns Alamo game. I mean, I think the Chargers Alamo game was against the Packers. That's where I'm at. I don't think we're going to see anything special out of the Chargers. I'm just not seeing where we're going to get a good performance from. And I don't think they're going to fight for their coach. Not a lot of science, man. Not a lot of science. Okay. Anthony Hardy, yo, Lawson. Stop hating on my Broncos. What was girl's name the other week? Currency at Pittsburgh Fire. Looking for more. Lauren. Yeah. So she'll be on. Anthony, am I really being all that harsh on the Broncos? Like they've gotten 4 turnovers the last 4 games, I think. I'm going to just bet against that variance. Like I don't think the Texans are going to turn over 4 times. I mean, that's what you get with Stroud. You know, you're going to get careful football, and you know when he gets in the rhythm, he'll be able to tear people up. But the Broncos defense has been playing a lot better, but I wouldn't call it anything dominant. John Jones, I already put a ticket in Jags minus 8. Yeah, I do like that one. I do like that one. Like I said, the only thing I worry about is penalties, keeping that game close for the national TV audience. That's all I worry about. Okay, Ward out, DTR out. Okay, Goodwin out. And okay, then no surprises for me for the Browns injury report because I looked at it earlier today. No surprises. I'm okay with Marquise Goodwin out. You would like Denzel Ward to be in there, but the fact that we're able to get Zay Smith and we're able to get Myles Garrett coming off the edge is very alluring to me. It's very alluring. And it is alluring that the Texans dropped down to -3. Thank you for the question, Hot Taco. The good question, my man. Lawton Hargrove. Saints are decimated with injuries. If Olave is out, I don't see how the Saints score more than 14. Can Detroit score 20 and cover? Goff seems to be I'm worried about Goff, Lawton. I'm very worried about Goff. He's a rhythm quarterback, and he's just out of rhythm right now. But my main thesis and why I think Detroit wins and covers is the Saints' injuries. Like I said to the chat, I mean, Mike Thomas is out. Looks like Olave is going to be out. Shaheed is probably going to be out. Who the fuck is Carr going to throw it to? And we know the Saints already are struggling to get the ball down the field. I do think Detroit comes back, and I do think Detroit lays an ass whooping, man. Nostro Davis. I like the name on Patreon, my man. After Notre Dame is Lawson. Thoughts on this teaser? Steelers, money line. Jags -2.5, for -112. Appreciate the insights. Thanks, man. Okay, Steelers money line. Yes, I like that. I like that. Like, listen, I think bringing the Steelers down makes a lot of sense. Especially, we know that offense doesn't play good. Like, I think the Steelers offense had their best day of the season on Sunday against the Bengals, and they only put up 16 points. So I think it's shrewd bringing Steelers down the money line, and I like the Jags -2.5 for a teaser. I mean, the teasers have been volatile this year, but I really like that Jags idea, my man. I really like that. Jeremy Wheel, hey Lawson, are we avoiding Browns versus Rams? Seems like the Browns pulled off. I'm not avoiding it. I'm not avoiding it. Yeah, Jeremy, I get what you're saying. It's a nasty game. It makes you feel like you're getting genital warts just betting a nasty, ugly game like that. But I like the Browns. And when it gets to 4, I do wonder what this Flacco equation means, though. I do wonder, like, I was making a joke to J-Stop last week. I'm like, yo, Flacco's walking through the door. And I just kind of assumed he wouldn't play. I just assumed. And now we see him starting already. That does push you for a little bit of a spiral. and we have to find value where there's value. I think we have a lot of value here, but I understand people who don't want to touch games. When you got Zach Wilson, when you got Joe Flacco at quarterback, Tim Boyle at quarterback, when you got those types of duds at quarterback, it raises your heart level quite a bit betting these games. Okay, here we go. Cows, Broncos win. Do that, 0.5. Yeah, man, Cows, listen, man, let's see if the Broncos can keep riding this wave. Brian DePaul, good Friday evening, Lawson Nation. Don't mean to confuse anyone. I'm in a pick'em league with spreads getting locked Tuesday and rounded up, so there are no ties. Hooks are always tough. What would you pick with these lines? Okay. Atlanta minus 3.5 versus the Giants. Oh, man, I would go Atlanta, but that's pushing it. Houston minus 3.5 versus Denver. Yes, I do like that. I still think Houston will win by that game by a touchdown. Lions minus 4.5, like the Lions. Browns with the 3.5. Eagles with the plus 3.5. If you're giving me the hook on it, man. If you're giving me the hook. That's just a tough one, man. That's just a tough one, like adding that 3.5 hook on the Eagles 49ers game. It's very tough because I have no problem if someone bets Niners minus 3 because it could just be a push when two good teams play against each other. But you add that hook on, that changes the whole equation. Cows! Lawson, do the Panthers get another win this week? I think so. I think so. The more I've thought about that game, the more I'm leaning towards the Panthers. I missed John Barnes with the super chat. New to Patreon. When do your big bets come out? Thank you. 10:30, 10 o'clock Eastern time Friday. So they'll be up later tonight. So we'll get those bets in. Yeah, man. Normally after the show, I have something to eat and go over last minute things, then we get the bets up and we're ready to roll, man. But I actually do think the Panthers can do it. We'll see if Michael Mann comes on tonight. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Ron Borkwin, your thought for a good 3-point teaser. Ron, give me a little while to think about that, and I'll respond to your comment. Nicholas Vincent, hey Lawson, who's your favorite touchdown scorer this week? I did think about this a little bit. I did think about it, and I would go Tank Dell anytime touchdown. I would go Tank Dell. I want to get good odds on these. Like, I don't want to just go like Austin Eckler and get like a minus 180. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to get some good odds. So I actually do like Tank Dell's matchup this week as long as he's not on. Actually, let's lay off that one because we could see a lot of Surtain on him. Give me Montgomery for the Lions anytime touchdown this week. I like that one. Feel better with that one. Nick with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it, man. Patreon member here. Thank you for the guidance. Falcons -2, Rams -4, 3 out of 4 last week. Browns screwed me, took a L. Yeah. I mean, Nick, like, what can you really do when a team fumbles the ball 3 or 4 times? I mean, there's just not too much you can do. There's not much you can do, but I appreciate it, Nick. I appreciate the super chat, my friend. Let's get this money, man. Let's get this money. Okay, here we go. Canyon Wiz, 14, 13-point teaser, 9-2 this year. DTR going down, killed the teaser last week. Yeah, I'll post that like I normally do. 9-2 this year on that one. The odds actually aren't that bad on that 13-point teaser. A kid named Coop. What's good, Lawson? What's up, Coop? Rarely I consider 2 underdogs this week, but leaning towards the Pats and the Panthers to cover and even win outright. Can you talk me off? No. That's a crazy fucking thing. I can't talk you off of it. And Coop, like you mentioned with the NBA on Instagram, this new coach bounce thing is real, and NFL fans, NFL bettors, they don't really know what to do with it. Like, I've always had to watch shit teams in my TV market as a kid. And so I've seen the Bills have their interim coaches. Like I remember when Dan Campbell came into the Miami Dolphins. And so when you look at things like that, man, I just can't ignore it. And also, I don't think the gulf in talent between the Panthers and Bucks is some sort of insurmountable option. And also, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to bet the Bucks laying 5.5 to anyone, and that's just where I'm at. And then also with the Bucks, like I feel like the performances are getting worse. I don't know if anyone else has another opinion on it. Like they Colts gave them chances to win that game last week. I don't know about you guys. I would like to hear your opinion, but I think the Bucks are getting worse. And then the thing with the Chargers, I feel like that game's all about motivation, man. And I'm worried about the Chargers' motivation, and I don't know about you guys, but I really want to see Brandon Staley get fired. So, and I don't root for anything bad to happen to anyone. Derek, what are your thoughts on this 7-point teaser? Detroit +3, Miami -2.5, Philly +10, KC +1. What would be your survivor pick choosing between Pittsburgh, Chargers, Jags? Jags. Don't overthink it, Derek. Go Jags with the teaser. I like Miami. Bringing Philly up to 10, I like it. But, Derek, can't we just avoid that one? Can't we just maybe sprinkle Jags in on the teaser? But, like, so for the 7-point teaser, I'm going to just change one. I'll say it on Patreon. Detroit +3, I like it. Miami -2.5. I would substitute Philly for the Jags. Then I'll go KC +1. Okay, here we go. Rob Borkwin, Lauren, I hope you're going to give your thoughts on player props. Killing it with Lawson's picks and your player props. Yeah, man. We'll get Lauren on right now. We'll see if she's still on. I didn't know. I saw her in the chat earlier. And we'll get Michael Mann on. I'm going to just get a glass of water real quick. Yeah, it's just waiting for my shit to load. So, I don't know, man. What's up? Why is my shit so slow? Okay. Big Al joined on Patreon. Jason LaFlame joined on Patreon. Thomas joined on Patreon. I appreciate it, guys. Charles Kaiser. I missed Charles Kaiser's comment. Let me see. I'll be right back and I'll invite them. 1 second. Oh, yeah, what's it called? You get on Netflix. Oh, no, internet, you think, yeah, big J-O. Yeah, I'll be right back. Just going to get a water, then I'll send those invites. Slam that like button. What's up, Warren? Always great to see you. Daniel Salazzo in here. Always great to see you, Dan. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Mike, I'm ready. I'm just trying to load up my email. Okay, that. So then I'm going to get you on. Okay. Here we go. Rico, what's up, Rico? You should bet that over then in that Patriots game. I think the over is like 40. Am I the only one who's shocked? Listen, and I'm the biggest San Fran better there is, but am I the only one who is shocked that almost 80% of the bets are on the 49ers in that? I don't get it, man. Okay, I sent the invite. Lauren, your email ends with a 2, right? Yeah, I believe Lauren is married, but I don't. I saw she just started using Instagram. She started using it earlier this year. She posted a photo, then she stopped using it. Um, okay, I'll be right back. Just going to get some water. Let me know if you got it, Mike. Any father had she good. Yeah, guys, I sent the invite, so I'll kill time. I think maybe Lauren had to go or something. Okay, so yeah, listen, man, I liked Mike. I liked what I saw from the Cowboys, but I did tell you that I don't think this Cowboys defense is as good as people think. Like that Seattle offense has been struggling for weeks, and like I don't know about you guys, but don't you feel like the Cowboys defense is a little bit vulnerable against the run? And they've been making big plays, and it's easy to make those big plays against Sam Howell and that group of dudes. But when you get resistance, I do wonder what type of Cowboys team we're going to see. Yeah, Lauren's coming on. Okay. What? Oh, Mike, Michael Mulder, you're doing the geometria. I did want a guy who was an expert in it to come on and come on the podcast and debate me about it. He never came on, and I was going to take it like seriously. But I honestly, yeah, what is that called? What's the name again? Like geometria, like they think like numbers, dates, change what happens in games. Yeah, like listen, I know the modern world is very complicated and there's lots of volatility and there's lots of surprises, but that's not going to help you explain anything that happens in this world, man. And just think like when you use that stuff, it's kind of like a crutch to make complex decision making simple. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, what's up?
Michael, man, how's it going, man?
Not
Can you
bad,
hear
bro.
me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, how's the new mic going?
Not bad. Does it sound better?
Yeah, yeah. How's my mic sound?
Oh, yeah, you sound good.
Sounds good. How's it going, Lauren?
Hey, hey,
Got
what's
some
going on?
Georgia again.
That's right, Georgia Dogs. Hey, they made us some money a couple weeks ago. I need you guys went on that four-teamer 2 weeks
Well,
ago.
Mike's not on Patreon, so he's missing out.
Oh,
Yeah.
Michael.
But
Honestly,
anyways, but
Michael, how
anyways,
are you not Michael? What the
yeah. You did give me a little good sales pitch there. All right, let's just get to the games. Like 49ers, Eagles. Let's hear your opinion because you guys heard mine.
I have Eagles
Okay,
to
so
win cover, and I don't think this should be. I don't get why this is a 3-point spread for the 49ers. Look at the matchups. Like, okay, the 49ers do not have great corners. We saw in the championship game last year that they can't cover Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. What has changed this time around? Additionally, if there's one weakness of the 49ers defense is that they're not great at stopping the run, and this is the first team that's actually going to commit to doing it. I think as long as the Eagles actually show up to this game and don't let themselves get down like 17-7 again, I think they'll walk away with this, no problem.
Oh, you go, Lauren.
I was on the Bills last week with a 3.5.
Oh, now it's 3.5. Is that 3 the whole week?
I got it at 3.5. That's what I said. I said in the Patreon, I get the hook. I'm taking it. I didn't touch it until the hook came. Now, if you're getting, I got San Fran minus 2.5 is what I had on Wednesday. I jumped all over that. They're a better team. We talk about a lot of teams that could have a worse record than they really do. Philly's one of them. I was on Philly against Miami. I was on Philly against Dallas. I'm not on Philly against San Fran. I'm on San Fran.
I'm worried about Hurts, Mike. I agree with what Mike said. From
I wouldn't take it at 3. I wouldn't take it.
Did you guys watch the NFC Championship last
I
year?
wouldn't touch.
Did anyone rewatch
Yeah,
that?
did you see that Brock Purdy played for 4 minutes?
Yeah, because the Eagles knocked his ass out. Yeah, I saw that.
Who quarterbacked that game?
Christian
Okay,
McCaffrey.
so anytime a quarterback goes, Aaron Rodgers went out, the second play of the first game. I'm just saying, they've added the defense guy from Washington.
Chase Young.
Wait a second.
Here's
What's his
what I'm
name?
worried about.
They've added Chase Young over there in San Fran. Yeah, they've added Chase Young over there. That's huge.
I have to say, I do worry about this Eagles offensive line without Lane Johnson. That's my only concern going into this. I think that's kind of been the Achilles heel for what's really made them slow down lately in these last couple of games. And whoever that, I think Driscoll's his replacement, Matt Driscoll, he's going to be lined up against Bosa or Chase Young, and that matchup is concerning for me. But other than that, I feel like if the Eagles actually show up to this game and don't let them and don't spot the other team 10 points, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm concerned about her. So, and I get it. And I think what you said about A.J. Brown and Smith is correct, especially because we know the 49ers, if they have a weakness, it's probably at corner, right? I think we can all agree there. But I am a little bit nervous about how Hurts has been playing. And it's kind of been a microcosm for the Eagles season this whole year. Like, they're playing 2 quarters out of a 4-quarter game, and credit to them for winning. But I don't know, man. And also, last week, the Bills were able to run it on them. That shouldn't have happened.
That is true. Yeah, I can't justify that. The other thing about doing this game is if it gets to the 4th quarter and it's close, who are you trusting more on a game-winning drive? Jalen Hurts or Brock Purdy? Because all I've ever seen
McCaffrey.
Yeah. You can't run Christian McCaffrey on the game-winning drive.
Why?
Well, clock management. I'm saying
you don't think he can barrel through?
You got a minute to go. You got to pick Brock Purdy or Jalen Hurts. Which one are you trusting in that duel? I'm taking Jalen Hurts and I'm running with him. Every time Brock Purdy is in that situation,
Jalen Hurts needed a 60-yard field goal to go into overtime.
Yeah, because the center jumped off sides twice.
You want to break down every time somebody fails to do something? San Francisco's winning this game, Michael.
Oh my
you want to
goodness.
place another bet against me like you did earlier in the year? I'm ready for it.
You want to bet? You want me to bet on the Eagles?
Listen, I bet on the Eagles. I took the Eagles against Miami. I took them against Dallas. I took them against they're 9-1. Or 10 and whatever the hell, 12-1. I don't. Whatever. They've lost one game to the Jets. Okay, one game. I do not see them, and they're in a really bad spot. They're in a really bad spot right now. They played late. San Fran played on Thanksgiving. They've got extra time. That shit matters. So I'm telling you right now, and they're in a bad spot. Don't they have Dallas next week, Philly, or another divisional game?
They do.
They're in a really bad.
Dallas.
Oh, this is a terrible spot for Philly. Terrible spot for Philly right now. San Fran's got extra time. They've had extra days. Philly's in a real bad spot this week. They got Dallas next week, and they just came off a gauntlet of a win in overtime on the night game. I mean, give me a break, man. They're in a really tough spot right now. They're and I don't and quite frankly, Jalen Hurts had 18 or 19 yards in the whole first half against the Bills.
Yeah, they started slow.
What do you think he's going to do against the 49ers?
I'm not denying it, but they find ways.
You can't start slow against the 49ers and pull this shit off.
Tell that to the Chiefs.
Absolutely. And I've been on them every single week. I've been on them every single week until this one. You got to know when to get. You have to know when to get off of it.
I don't know, Lauren. I think the Eagles got this. I think it's a good matchup.
Not this week.
Well, we'll see.
Okay. Okay. I mean, this is what makes for good TV, right?
What?
So what's going on with the Saints? We had some questions.
Saints. Let's see. The Saints are going to against Detroit. My biggest question is, why is it only 4? Like, it feels a little fishy to me. Like,
see, like, I would love to jump on the hate the Saints bandwagon, but Detroit's been playing like shit too lately. And you mean to tell me the Saints defense can't take advantage?
So Jared Goff has been doing what he.
Well, you cut out a little bit there.
Yeah, you're caught. You're.
I don't. Me?
Yeah,
just talk.
I am?
Now it's better.
Okay, sorry. I don't know why it's only 4. That to me seems very trappy. I don't know. Jared Goff has actually been struggling. We saw. Listen, there was not even a turkey leg for Green Bay because they had freaking seared the Detroit logo on the turkey ahead of the game, not even giving Green Bay a chance, right? Which I wouldn't have either, because I think Green Bay is still hot trash. But regardless, Detroit fell to them, and Detroit has, Jared Goff has been struggling lately. Like, I don't know if there's something going on with him or what, but I don't know why such a high-scoring offense like Detroit is only a 4-point favorite against the Saints. That seems so weird to me. I feel like my number should be like a touchdown. Like 6.
Detroit's defense also hasn't been playing great football lately.
That's where I'm concerned.
Yeah. Now I have a question. Why? I get the Saints aren't that great, but why are Saints fans calling for Dennis Allen's head? Like, I'm genuinely curious, because from an outside perspective, all I see that defense doing is keeping them in games.
Yeah, but
it's the offense.
I'm
genuinely curious to know where y'all stand on that.
Oh, I think he should be fired.
So the defense
they need a new offensive coordinator.
The defense is outstanding.
Yeah, I think they need a new offensive coordinator. I don't think Dennis Allen is genuinely like the biggest problem with that coaching staff.
Yeah, a new OC would be great. I think that I don't personally think Carr is as healthy as
he's not healthy.
things are. He's not. Like, he just
That was
doesn't
like
even.
what, grade 2 or grade 3 AC joint. So I don't think
Yeah,
he's
like that
healthy.
shit. That shit lingers. You know what I mean? That's like it's like a turf toe. Like it's really hard to play through that shit. So I don't think he's as healthy as he's letting on to be. There's times when that offense can be explosive. Alvin Kamara is holding. I think personally, what you're going to see is a lot. And if the Saints recipe for success this week is going to be through Taysom Hill.
Really? Well,
If
Taysom
I,
Hill is low
you
key
know,
kind of he's low key kind of bounced off as a fantasy tight end lately.
right, because he's never really been a tight end. So
Yeah.
let's really call a spade a spade. I think the times anytime the Saints have won, Taysom Hill's either ran it in, thrown for a touchdown, caught one, or done all three. Every game that they have had success in, he has some sort of he has at least one or two touchdowns or some crazy explosive plays. And I mean, Alvin Kamara, it's almost, obviously he's Derek Carr's like check down king with him, right? So Alvin Kamara is going to get like 95 freaking touches like he does, but every time they need some sort of explosive play, whether it's a running play or some sort of gadget play, they run it with Taysom and they fool everybody. So they did it for like 3 games in a row. They won using him. So I mean, their path through success through any team, not just Detroit this week, but through any team is utilizing him more. Not as the primary quarterback. We all know he can't be a starting quarterback. We tried that. Didn't work. But you can utilize him in multiple ways. And if they're gonna have success the rest of the year, they're gonna have to use him more, especially now with all the injuries out there.
And you want to talk about the Cardinals Steelers? Because I saw you in the chat.
Ew.
I think the Cardinals can cover. Like I get it, but I'd like to hear your opinion on this because I'm sure most people are on the Steelers, like from what the comments I got. But I think the Cardinals can keep this close. I think they might even be able to win. And I don't know about you guys. Maybe I'm overreacting to some of the early season stuff. I do feel like the Steelers secondary is vulnerable. And I don't know if you guys watched that Rams Cardinals game last week. Credit to what the Rams did. But I felt like they weren't using Kyler Murray the right way. I think they come out better this game, and I think they cover him.
Pittsburgh
Steelers
has
are on my no bet list.
2 impressive wins here. Pittsburgh has 2 impressive wins. Baltimore and Cleveland. Important. Baltimore and Cleveland are the 2 impressive wins for Pittsburgh in their division games. So they're impressive,
and they were
right?
lucky to win.
I mean,
both.
they were close and 16-14 or 17. They were lucky to win both. And those are the only two. Those are the only 2 justified, respectable. And again, they were lucky. If you think I am going to lay 5.5 points with a team that can't get out of the teens for scoring all year, and we're in week 13, and they're going to lay 5.5 points, and they can't even get out of the teens to score, 0% chance of that. Give me 5.5, maybe money line. Arizona all day. Best bet.
Yeah. I think I have to agree with you. I've learned not to bet the Steelers. I've had it betting the Steelers. But I cannot wait to see the Steelers get railed in the playoffs. I am actively looking forward to that game because they are the worst good team I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're just. I mean, there's
Frank, they'd have 2 wins.
Listen, firing the whole Matt Canada thing is supposed to be, great or whatever, this, that, and the other. But I can't back Pittsburgh when I don't know, Kenny Pickett can't. And does he even do any of the scoring?
Zone is up to 6.5, by the way.
What?
Oh, yeah.
I told you,
Those
people like
Steelers
this.
fans. Those Steelers fans. How many have the Steelers won a game by more than one score all year?
Yeah, I know, and we bet the Steelers quite a bit this year. I don't know what the allure is for the
Yeah.
Steelers this game. Like, I'm worried about the only thing I'm worried about
If
this.
they didn't have Chris Boswell,
Oh yeah.
they might have won maybe 2 games all year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they kick a lot of field goals. You're happy to have him as your fantasy kicker.
Chris Boswell is way more important to that team than Kenny Pickett.
Are you saying he's the Steelers MVP?
Yeah.
He's like Washington's kicker that won MVP.
On offense.
Oh yeah, TJ Watt on defense, I guess is your MVP, but yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm on Arizona to cover this.
I'll tell you right now, Arizona's run defense is absolutely terrible. It's absolutely trash. So you're going to see a lot of Jalen Warren, a lot of Najee Harris. And do you really trust Kenny Pickett? Because I don't. So you're going to see a lot of running that. But the problem, what you are also going to see on the other side, is a lot of Kyler Murray running around and at least throwing the ball, launching and actually catching. His receivers will catch it in the end zone. He'll scramble. He's mobile. I mean, last week I wasn't on them last week, obviously, but because the Rams have owned Arizona pretty much every time they meet. And
they really
at the end of the one other thing is they don't give up. Arizona, even at the end of oh my God, I had a player prop that my last leg was Kyler Murray over 250 yards. He was at 183 with 3 minutes to go. He threw for 80 yards after the 2-minute warning. Why to score again? That team doesn't quit. I personally think they can win this game. So if you're going to give me 5, 6, and 3.5, I don't care what it is. I personally think they can win this game. I would absolutely back Arizona 1,000% this week.
They definitely have the toughness to compete with them for 60 minutes, I think.
Yeah, and Kyler Murray as a road dog is very good. Has a very good record. He's like 14-5 or something.
Interesting.
I want to hear Mike's reaction to my Panthers pick because I did go.
Here we go. It's time for the Frank. Did I miss that? Did you guys already talk about that for me? The Frank Reich firing that I've heard nothing but this from Michael Mann for the last 4 days. Every time my phone dings, it's
4 months.
It's some other. When the firing just happened, like you were like the Frank Reich head on the picket line for the last 2 months, but when it finally happened, my phone blew up so much from the articles and the statements that came. He sends me a text. We did it. We did, as if I'm part of like the Panthers nation. He's like, we did it. We did it. We got rid of Frank Reich. I'm like, kudos to you. You got rid of your shit coach in week 12.
And speaking of that, first thing I want to do, I want to publicly thank everyone who participated in the Fire Reich movement. Like seriously, thank you. Like I mean, the Panthers set the record since like 1970 something for the shortest tenure for a head coach at 11 games. And my God, Frank Reich deserved less than that. I mean, this man.
I think they've had the most coaches out of any team. How many people have coached that team in the last?
Who, the Panthers?
Yeah.
Since you're saying including interims? If we're including interims, we got 3 or 6. 6 since 2006 since 2018.
That's absurd.
Because, we fired 3 coaches in that time. And they were all like mid-season fires. But I mean, dude, I cannot express how poor Frank Reich was. And I won't even go on. Well, I'll talk about this game now a little bit. I
think people are kind of like, let's talk about the game.
Yeah, listen, here's the thing, and this is what kind of bought me into maybe the Panthers covering this. At first, when I looked at this, even after they fired Frank Reich, I wasn't really on the Panthers bandwagon. The Panthers' offensive line struggles to block at the first sign of any defensive maneuver. So when you see Todd Bowles coming at you with that blitz-heavy stunt scheme, that kind of scares you. But when I started hearing about the more I heard about what Frank Reich was really doing in this team, something I didn't really expect to hear that I was surprised to hear was that Frank Reich lost the locker room. We had a team captain publicly come out and endorse the firing of Frank Reich. He straight up said that was a good move by David Tepper to fire Frank Reich. I've never seen a player do that. So that tells me he lost the locker room. Additionally, we've heard this week that there are going to be a lot of changes on offense. We're expecting more run the ball. We're expecting to actually use play action, maybe see some motion. And the Bucs are kind of coming in limping. Baker is not playing good. And even if you're not on the Panthers offense, even if you think Baker has been playing that bad, the Panthers defense has low-key been playing very well lately. They've held 4 of their last 5 opponents to under 17 in spite of the offense doing everything it could to lose the game. So when you hear that, I think you got to take the Panthers -5.5.
I talked you into it. You told me there's no chance they were going to do it when I did the upset video Wednesday. Now you're starting to come around.
I don't
But
think
Bucks
I
have been. Mike, I got the message. I got the message.
I'll have to look at it.
Panthers win money line.
Oh, I don't like money line. No, I have Panthers to lose 16-13. But if we're talking the 5.5, I like it. What?
I said great game, but man,
Yeah.
I'm this Bucks team. I don't know how much you guys have watched them. Like I said, I'm not going to repeat myself too much, but they have been looking worse as the year goes on.
And listen, the two things the Bucks offense really does well, or that they really kind of need to succeed, is they try to get a deep play action game going and they need to run the ball. Panthers are pretty good at stopping both of those things. So I think the defense can at least keep them in it as long as the offense doesn't take a safety or like pitch the ball to Shaquille Barrett or whoever they have over there. I think we'll be just fine. So that's my thoughts.
I don't really care for him.
Yeah.
No, it's not. We have to do an upset video every week, so there's only so much we could take. Because
I'll tell you what, there is definitely a recipe for Carolina to cover this game. This is also a divisional game. Baker has definitely not been playing as well as he was earlier in the year. I think I don't know if he's got that lingering injury going on as well. And that whole new coach theory, interim head coach theory that we talk about, same thing that happened in Vegas. There's definitely a recipe for them to cover this game. Baker's pretty banged up, so aren't the Panthers like 5.5?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I would take Panthers 5.5.
I kind of want to bet it because listen,
I don't think Tampa's beating anybody by. Hold on a second. 5 of 6 road losses. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. 5 of 6 road losses are 7 or more. So Panthers O-line's got issues. They have no weapons, but somehow they cover. I don't know. I think they could do it.
Defense. Yeah. And something else that I think is going to transpire. I saw this comment. How is any coach going to do well in Carolina for real? Something else I'm expecting to see this week is, okay, we need to bench at least 2 or 3 skill position players immediately. Get Miles Sanders the fuck off the field. I cannot stand that guy. He's Pro Football Focus's lowest grade running back by a mile. And then
you got rid of the number 1 quarterback in the whole freaking league. I mean,
I'm sick. Shut up, Warren. I'm sick of that take. Because if you put C.J. Stroud in this situation, he would be just as bad. I am so sick of hearing the Panthers messed up Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud. And listen, I was wrong about C.J. Stroud.
I said you got rid of the number 1. I'm sorry. You got rid of the number 1 running back in the league, I should say, in Christian McCaffrey.
My apologies then.
My apologies. Yeah, you want to complain about your running back? You had the best running back in the NFL right now, and you guys got rid of him. So
I know we got fleeced. I don't.
You guys are unfortunately you're a victim of the system right now. Running back trash.
Yeah, well, no,
I don't think that's the reason why the Panthers lose.
Chuba Hubbard nearly had 100 yards last week.
Yeah, but Mike, you have to look at David Tepper, man. You have to look at David Tepper. This guy is outrageous.
Oh my! What? Why?
Why, Mike?
Yeah,
I
I want to
explained to
hear
you.
what. Well, I
Listen,
know, but I want to go into it. Just
but yeah, I'll give the footnotes. Look at how many we can't trust his judgment with hiring coaches. And we said, I know Lauren said that agreed with me last year when we were talking about the Colts. We even said something. They only use 4 or 5 formations on offense. And then I heard you in one of your posts on Instagram saying the same thing. And we already knew that. And that's why it's concerning. We'll give him the Matt Rule pass, but you know why he wanted Matt Rule, right? Because the Giants offered him that contract, and David Tepper's like, oh, let me get the new hot young thing. And that's what he did. He didn't do his research. You can give him a pass on the Matt Rule, but I'm not going to give him a pass on Frank Reich. That's lazy, man. It's really, really lazy. And I don't know about Lauren. Like, I don't think I'll let her talk, but I think she was with me. Like, the Frank Reich thing wasn't going to work, and it just feels like a guy who's ran out of ideas. Like, you take the safest thing in the world, and then also, I don't know if you guys agree with me, but remember that 16.5 point performance in Frank Reich's second to last year where they lost the playoffs to the Jags? Like, that's kind of like a sign that maybe this guy did lose the locker room. So to see him lose the locker room in Carolina wasn't all that surprising to me. Then also, let's look at some of the stuff Tepper did. You get Deuce Staley and Josh McCown. For some reason, they get scapegoated and fired out of their job. And then also, like, there's the CJ Stroud. That elephant in the room isn't going to go away.
It's not, because Bryce Young is not as good.
Lauren, you have to understand. Listen, I was wrong about CJ Stroud. I thought he was going to be a bust. Like, or not a bust, but I didn't think he'd be as good as Bryce Young coming out because his pocket presence at Georgia was not good at all, and he really had the best situation in the entire country last year. So I really thought I did not expect him to be this good in the NFL. But you need to understand, if he was on the Panthers, he would be just as bad, if not worse, than Bryce Young. Because at least Bryce Young can make a run for it and get away from pressure. CJ Stroud is not a runner. There's no receivers in Carolina at all. We're bottom 3 in the league in play action, bottom 3 in the league in motion, second highest drop rate in the NFL, worst play caller in the NFL. Do I need to continue? Like, I mean, this
Did
is
you not see CJ Stroud against the Jags? Because he doesn't run it and scramble it for 2 yards. He runs it in the back, then he slams the shit 50 yards down the field.
No shit. And then Nico Collins catches it with 2 guys on top of him. So
yeah, and look at that amazing catch. You think any receiver on the Panthers would have made that catch? We would have tipped that ball up like it was volleyball, and the other team would have caught it.
Mike, I think CJ Stroud would do excellent work with Adam Thielen over the middle.
I think CJ Stroud would do very well in a lot of organizations. And you put him in Houston. Houston was hot trash after Deshaun Watson left there. Hot trash. This is the first time they'd had a season worth of shit.
And they also have a good head coach. They have the coach of the year right now in DeMeco Ryans. And for what it's worth, I will say I kind of want their offensive coordinator as our head coach because of how well that's gone.
Yeah, but like now here's the
you're talking like Houston has had a winning record the last 5 years. They haven't done shit. Nothing until
Carolina was significantly better than Houston last year, and Frank Reich ruined it. And then you get DeMeco Ryans coming in here from a good culture who knows how to motivate a locker room, makes good hires, and you actually put yourself in a position to succeed. The Panthers did everything they possibly could to not put Bryce Young in a position to succeed. I'm not making excuses for him. I'm not saying that he's better than CJ Stroud. All I'm saying is I don't know how you can call him a bust when he literally has had nothing to work with.
Who drafted Jonathan Mingo?
Oh, get him. I cannot. That's another guy. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Yeah, but here's my point, Mike.
Wait, who's the tight end? Tremblay?
No, they had Hayden
Tommy Tremble.
They had Hayden Hurst, but he got hurt. And Tommy Tremble, like, he's honestly not terrible. I would much rather see him. The problem is he doesn't play enough. We've spent, and this is crazy. So listen to this. We spent 84% of our offensive snaps in 11 personnel, despite the fact that we have no wide receivers. I mean,
I
I don't
mean,
know
thank
what.
God for Adam Thielen. You might never score ever.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and I don't know how. Like seriously, I hope
Really?
Todd Bowles isn't listening. All you have to do to beat the Panthers is double team Adam Thielen and throw like a stunt in there, and you win. Like it's
You
so
don't
easy.
think he
Like
knows that? You don't think
yeah,
he knows that?
I mean, yeah.
You don't think he knows that?
I'm just saying because some teams haven't figured it out yet. We still see Adam Thielen going off like for 80 yards every other week.
Anyways, Lauren, any other bets you wanna talk about before we go? Yeah, because I gotta go soon. So
I do too, because you guys know I'm late for what I do on Friday nights. Listen, y'all, I'm gonna tell you guys right now. You know my favorite play obviously is Arizona. I'm very, very high on San Francisco. I don't know what the hell's going on with Joe Flacco in Cleveland right now. I don't know. I thought I was waking up from a bad dream. I still got Cleveland before this was a thing. I'm gonna stick with it and probably throw up. But I mean, it's either gonna be really, really good or really, really bad. But I'll tell you one thing right now about that game. You guys want to talk about this Browns game right now? Kyron Williams, you want a player prop? Over 62 and a half rushing yards. Probably wouldn't have said that at the beginning of the year against Cleveland, but Cleveland has allowed 172 yards against the Steelers, 169 yards against the Broncos, 106 yards against the Ravens. Kyron Williams went against Arizona last week for, I don't know, 143 yards, which Arizona is obviously a completely different thing. But Kyron Williams is a very good prop this week for over 62 and a half yards. Unfortunately, I think he's going to run all over Cleveland. So
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about Cleveland with the points anymore. I'm the Joe Flacco thing makes me very, very scared. I'll also tell you what else I like. I like Montgomery over 64 and a half yards, especially with the struggles that Jared Goff's having lately. And the Saints are the
yeah, I agree
23rd worst run defense.
I love the
You know,
Montgomery.
I love the
Yeah.
Montgomery one. And then I also, I don't know. I think that take your pick between Najee and Warren. One of them will be over 55 and a half yards. Najee's 55 and a half. I think Warren's maybe 57. I don't know,
I'd
whatever.
probably like
Both of,
towards Warren in that with the way the touches have been going, but yeah, that's tough.
I like
Both could go.
both of
Yeah.
them. I also I also, guys, Indy went from 15th to 31st when they lost Stewart to suspension. I think he's still got another game left against the run. Derrick Henry's going to have a day.
Ooh.
I said I would never bet Tennessee again the rest of this year, but I'm on Tennessee this week. And I know that everyone else is on Indy. No Jonathan Taylor. Tennessee's good, a lot better at home, especially when they're a dog or a favorite by very, very little. I think Vrabel will have a plan for this team. I don't trust Gardner Minshew this week to pull it off. I think Derrick Henry, just like he went off last week, I think he goes off this week because, again, Indy's rush defense literally is 31st in the league when they lost Stewart to suspension. So there's another prop for you guys.
All right.
Wait,
Make sure
I
you
got
hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Yeah, man. Appreciate you guys coming on. We'll be back at the normal time. Thanks for waiting around for it.
Yeah, definitely. Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me. And if you
Always
guys
great to
start
see
the
you.
thread, when you guys start, and somebody asked me, Lauren, what about Washington plus 10 against Miami? Take the under. It's 50 and a
can
half. Just go
can
with
I
the
throw
under.
one more game in here? Chiefs Packers. Am I crazy for kind of thinking the Packers could win this?
Win.
Yeah.
Win.
Packers are plus 6.5 right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled it out. Listen
Yeah,
to
you
this.
can.
So, firstly, Packers are 15-0 under Matt LaFleur in Lambeau in December. I mean, they've been crazy good over the last couple of years.
They've been playing against teams like Chicago and Detroit and Minnesota.
I'm just saying. I'm just
Detroit
pointing out.
beat them in January last year. All right.
Yeah,
I was about to
I'm
say.
just pointing out the numbers. They play well at home in December and this time of year. This seems to be the time that Mount 4 teams heat up. And
Yeah,
listen, if you got
Aaron Rodgers plays well in December in Lambeau Field. Well, this is
are
December
you telling
1st.
me the Packers haven't played well lately?
What December 1st is today? What have you seen out of Jordan Love in December? Nothing. Zero.
Do you not watch the last 2 weeks for the
Yeah.
Packers?
Yeah, I sure as hell did. A blind squirrel finds a nut every now and again. No, I
Oh my
don't think they're
God,
going to
Lauren,
beat
give some
Kansas City.
credit. Well,
For
come on? You
what?
didn't watch that? You didn't watch the Detroit game and didn't think he played
Well,
well?
of course I watched the game. Of course,
Played well the week before.
I also watched them like blow up, like almost lose
How are
after
the
they had a
okay?
huge lead.
Yeah, they could have easily. And then that
Yeah.
Chargers game, the Chargers game, I think is a good example of Lambeau magic. But then again,
The
it's the
Chargers beat
Chargers.
themselves that game.
I know.
They did.
So it's just, but yeah,
No,
I guess
no, I'm
you-
not on Green Bay. I think that's absolutely disgusting.
Even with the
before you
6.5?
guys go, it's just real quick. Pats or Chargers?
To cover or win, or with the spread or for
Whatever way you want to look at it.
Listen, my favorite. I'll take Chargers money line. I'm not laying 6 points on the road with a team that falls apart at the end, but I'm also not counting on a New England team to keep up with scoring against the Chargers, who we know can score. They just can't. And I don't know. And whose quarter is Joe Flacco going to go from over there to New England after? Who's quarterbacking in New England? Is it
sounds like it's gonna be
Zappy?
Zappy. Yeah, Zappy's
Okay,
it this week. He's been getting the practice
listen.
reps.
So we're out of options. If I'm going to take Justin Herbert over Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi or a combination of either one of them, I'm going to take Justin Herbert. So give me the Chargers.
Yeah, I like Chargers money line, but man, can you really bet on the Chargers to cover the spread? Like, I feel like this is more about the Chargers.
The
I
money
feel like this is
line
more
doesn't
about the
pay
Chargers.
good enough to bet it, but yeah,
This
I
is
get
more
it.
about.
'Cause not a
I
good-
mean,
I
Chargers
I
to
would
win,
I would
like-
almost lay the 6 points and almost. I mean, if I had to go a route, I mean,
yeah, you know what? If I had to go route 2, I would
one
probably pick the Chargers
touchdown.
to cover. But
We at
I
least
mean,
we at least know they can. We at least know they can score.
you just talked about how the Chargers choked the game away against the Packers. I mean, they could eat. Like, I'm not saying they could do the same here, but man, it would.
Yeah, but
like
the
Lawson's
Packers
been saying,
at least they have an established team and they know who's starting. Like I mean,
I don't know.
in New England,
Do
we
not
don't even know who's
underestimate
starting.
I'm just warning you, do not underestimate Brandon Staley's ability to choke. That's all I'm
Oh
saying.
God, we all know that. That's why this game
I
is
don't
really
know.
Then
this game
why
is
are
a
we
pass
saying
for
that,
me.
I'm just
He put me on the spot. He put me on the spot and asked me, but this game is a total pass. If I'm going to play this game at all,
yeah,
it's
of
just
course,
Chargers
of
money.
course, yeah.
Let's end it on that. All right. Have
And
a good one.
like
as far
10
as the
seconds
Monday
to
night
answer.
game, I don't like 8.5.
It's a lot.
Oh no.
Too many.
Anyways, I gotta go, guys. I
All right,
gotta
guys.
go.
All right,
All right,
I'll
have a
catch
good
you all
one.
next week.
Have a good
Listen,
one.
I'll comment on Patreon if I come up with anything else. If you guys have any questions, let me know. But always good to see you guys.
Thank you, guys.
All right,
Bye.
see y'all.
And good luck with the Panthers, Mike. It'd be so funny if they win. So I'll see.
Listen,
you guys.
if the Saints win too, because I'm actually calling for a total NFC loss this week. All of them. I think they're all losing. I think Atlanta's
What do you-
losing. I think Carolina's losing. I think the Saints are
Well,
losing.
Bucks or Panthers have to win.
Well,
We
I'm
could
sorry.
tie. We could tie.
I mean that's
Let's
true
do a
too.
tie.
That's true too. That's true too.
Let's be 1-10-1. That'd be fun.
All right,
All right,
I
guys.
could see it. Like, really, I could see it. That'd be funny.